Hey, this is Rodney Hudson. You're listening to the Silver and Black Today.
This is the Silver and Black Today podcast, your source for Raiders news and information. Now, here's your hosts, swaggering boisterously.
It is Friday night in Las Vegas, and we are at Lagasse Stadium here at the Palazzo Las Vegas. Yes, the Raiders are finally, Matt Gutierrez, my co-host. I am Scott Branson. They're finally hitting the field, brother.
Dude, we got football.
Oh,
we have
God.
Raiders football starting in an hour and a half.
We not only have Raiders football.
On a stupid dirt infield.
We not only have Raiders football, but we are coming to you live, as I mentioned, from the Palazzo Las Vegas Lagasse Stadium. If you have not been here, you're missing out as we wave but some Raider fans. I'm telling you what. Raider Nation, man, they just show out, right?
Always.
It is an hour before our official party is supposed to start, and we've seen people streaming in. You need to get down here. Very easy to get to. Just come down Spring Mountain /Sands. It's free parking. It's free admission. Matt's giving out free hugs as long as you're female. No, I don't want to get you in trouble with your wife.
God, man, what are you doing to me here?
But we are here. I mean, if you haven't been to Lagasse Stadium, let me tell you, it is the best spot in Las Vegas to watch the football game, and not only a football game, but Raiders football, Matt.
Dude, I'm excited. There's no better uniform than that silver and black, man. You love when that silver and black takes the field. Watching them do the field the other night.
Oh, okay. So let's
doing the conversion.
Wait. The conversion because of the Oakland. Yes.
Yeah. I just all I could think was only 2 more years of this. Maybe only one, but only maximum 2 more years. And they will have their own field. They're going to have their own field that'll be rolled in on a tray like they do in Arizona, and it'll be silver and black, and it'll be all grass. There will be no dirt on there whatsoever.
And it'll say Las Vegas in one of the end
zones. And it will say Las Vegas, and I just, man, I can't wait.
Well, I'll tell you, Matt, I think everybody's in that same position. Now, here's the thing. We are not only here tonight at Lagasse Stadium getting ready to host this party. We're going to give you drink specials, food specials, which we're going to mention here. I mean, they got $5 half nacho orders. You want to add something to it, you get that $10 giant pretzel. And when I say giant pretzel, this thing is like bigger than Tony Cordasco's head.
That's
right. Which is large.
With that big squash on top of that neck, that's a big pretzel.
That's right. So we have that. We have you get a bucket of 6 beers, man, for $25.
Dude, on the strip, on the Las Vegas Strip, if you can get a beer for $4, man, you're coming up because most of the time you're looking at 10, 11, 12.
That's right.
Easy.
That's right. So you got to get down here. Again, the party officially starts at 7 o'clock. You heard the food specials. You heard the drink specials. Also, we will have swag.
Free stuff,
including some Silver and Black Today T-shirts, buttons, stickers. We got all kinds of fun stuff.
Some questionable CDs.
Yeah, that's thanks to the folks here at the Palazzo. They gave us some CDs that I think, you know what, though? They might be good for folks maybe with a romantic evening with their significant other.
Perhaps.
So we'll talk about that. But get out here. We're going to be doing it, having a lot of fun. But we're going to jump now and talk about this game, Matt. Of course, the Raiders now are getting set in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum as we speak to get ready for their game against the Lions tonight. And we want to talk about some of the storylines as we jump in. We're going to hold Khalil Mack just for a second. Also, we have reports now out of Oakland just a little while ago, about a half hour ago, that John Gruden, of course, you got in a nice little hissy fit, and from John's side, of course, with John Castanino on the Sports Adrenaline about the Raiders going back to 1998. John reads into it the wrong way, but that's
completely,
okay.
Yeah. A lot of media has read into it the wrong way.
Absolutely, because it's just to build clicks. So John Gruden, we just found out, Matt, is going to take it back to 1998 tonight. Okay, he's going to introduce. The Raiders will be introduced coming from the black hole section of the stadium, going south to north, like they used to, instead of coming through the tunnel west to east.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
I like that.
Something
a little different.
That's more of a shout out to the fans.
Not only that, the way that it's configured, I know a lot of people out there have obviously been to the Coliseum, but the way they do it is both teams because it's a baseball stadium. Both teams come out of the same tunnel.
Yeah.
Come out of the same tunnel. The road team just kind of runs on, and then they've got the Raiderettes forming a little, lane essentially that leads you out into where they got the big fire thing, the sign, Raiders and everything, and they run through that. I think it's great that they're going to do, and I remember when they used to do that. They used to run them around the side over to that end zone, the black hole end zone, and they would form that line there, and that's where the players would run out. They'd come from that black hole out of the end zone onto the field. So I think it'll look better because coming from that side of the stadium, it's deep, man. That side of the stadium, you're really far back because that's behind home plate essentially when you're talking about the baseball field. You've got dugouts back there. It's great for baseball because you're right there, but for football, it sets you back 20 yards from the sideline.
It's a whole different. Thank you very much. It's a whole different thing. So I mean, I this game I think is going to be somewhat anticlimactic. Yes, it is a preseason game. Okay, so that from the get go because you're going to see. If you even see Derek Carr in that first-team offense overall, you're going to see pieces of the first-team offense.
The first game, you're just happy to see the team back on the field.
Right.
See the colors back on the field.
So whether Derek Carr even plays for a series, if he does, that's fine. It could be 3 plays. It could be 8 plays. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. I think there are storylines, Matt, though, that we want to talk about. And a lot of people focus on, I think, some of the higher-profile stuff. You talked about Arden Key, right? He's your guy, defensive end. The defensive line, of course, Mo Hurst. I'm looking at some of the other ones, frankly, that I think are a little more intriguing and the type of stuff that I like about preseason football, and that is, for example, linebacker. Okay? They went out, they signed Derek Johnson. Markel Lee has been impressing people all camp.
Yeah,
so to me, I want to see what's happening there at linebacker because I think you'll see those guys a little more. And, of course, at cornerback, right, with Conley still out. With Nick Nelson, all these guys, you have injuries. You signed a couple guys.
Nick Nelson, let's see what he can do, right?
That's what you're going to get significant playing time. This is where you see guys, for all the talk we hear from folks like us in radio, television, newspapers, whatever it may be, you hear all that talk about somebody looks great at camp. This is when you start to see guys, even in the first game, start to separate and say, hey, you know what? We were right. He does look good. Yeah. So if Markel Lee comes out, because I'm not sure how much Derek Johnson's going to play, but if he comes out and he impresses, then you're like, okay, this is the guy that we thought he could be.
And they need depth there.
And they need depth
at the linebacker spot. Absolutely need depth. You need more than depth at the cornerback spot. You need guys that can play.
Yeah,
that's been a big problem with the last few years. Is you bring in guys that you think like Sean Smith and David Amerson, who you think can do well, and they have flashes of being good. Amerson's first year, he was good.
Did you see him last night with the Chiefs, by the way?
I didn't. No
penalty. I mean, just terrible stuff.
Good. Eat him up then. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Raiders and Carr just blowing by him every single possession. But they fell off. You need guys who can go out there and play the defensive back position. Safety's interesting. Is Reggie Nelson going to get time? Is he even going to make the roster, or is he a guy they brought back into camp because he was one of the captains and because he knows Gunther's system?
Yeah. No.
I mean, does he make the 53? I think a lot of that depends on injuries.
It does depend on. I mean, that's the other great equalizer is you see guys, and they might be passable, but if somebody's injured and you can't go out and get it, especially with what we know, and we'll talk about in a second, Khalil Mack and contract negotiations and all that stuff. But to me, some of these battles, Matt, are ones that we want to keep an eye on too. We talked about linebacker, the backup to Derek Carr. Okay, hey, we know how important that can be, unfortunately, because of what happened to Derek Carr a couple years ago. So you have E.J. Manuel, you have Connor Cook. Of course, like every preseason, you're hearing Connor Cook looks good.
Well, so here's my thing with those two guys. I think you kind of know what you're going to get out of E.J. Manuel. He's been a starter in this league. He's never really been a great starter in this league. He's kind of a lower-tier starting quarterback if he's going to be one. And by lower tier, I mean probably bottom fourth, right? He's not one of the better, even average starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Connor Cook is still an unknown. Throw out the postseason start that he had. That was by default because of injuries. McGloin was banged up. Carr had the broken leg. He had never started a game in his NFL career, and he has to go in against the Texans defense. I mean, he was up against it right away. But the thing about Cook is he's a young kid. He's only in his third season in the NFL, and Gruden loved this kid coming out of college. going through Gruden's quarterback camp and all of his grades and stuff that he puts on these guys, he was a big fan of Cook. Cook has great size. He's got a great arm. If he can progress, then you have a guy that maybe legitimately could back up Carr, and if he has to step in, can do a serviceable enough job that we don't see what we saw 2 years ago where Carr goes down and literally the entire season falls to crap.
Yeah, and one of those things, though, I agree with you on E.J. Manuel. I think with that, is if I'm an NFL coach, right, an NFL coach, I don't care if it's John Gruden with a 10-year contract or not, he always knows that if something goes wrong with his number one quarterback, he wants that guy he knows he can put in there is not going to get rattled. Mm-hmm. And so to me, E.J. Manuel is that guy. Like Connor Cook, there may be, but if he falls in love with the kid like he did when he came out of college.
Well, that's the hope, because I think that Connor Cook he has the potential to be a more talented quarterback than what you get out of E.J. Manuel. Well, and he's not a kid anymore. He's in his third season.
Right.
I mean, Carr's third season was the 2016 year where they went off and he took them to 12-4 before the injury.
He's relatively inexperienced, though.
I understand that he hasn't played, but
right.
he's been there. He's been in the NFL now.
Right.
He understands what it takes. He did get that start. So he knows what it takes to be there. And maybe if he can show the skill set on the field, you hope that he's the better option as the backup quarterback.
Okay, so we look at the quarterback. We'll see what happens there. I know we'll get a nice dose of both of those guys in this game to start with as well. And I would imagine E.J. Manuel will get the entire first half and maybe even into some of the third quarter. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens with there. Then, of course, everybody talks about the offensive line. Colton Miller. That's great. We're gonna see tonight how he does there with some real game time action. Also, though, remember on the right side you have Brandon Parker and Giancomni. They're all there, and we have to see who's going to step up, who's going to make it. Now, we know Brandon Parker's been injured a little bit. He missed some practice because of that, but he's a kid I like there as well. But we'll see what happens on that offensive line and on the interior as well. And then, of course, wide receiver, right? Who are the guys? I think all of the talk this week out of camp, of course, was about Martavis Bryant and the sort of alleged snipes that Gruden was taking. I think it's overread. I think Martavis Bryant might have been struggling for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. And what I always like about Gruden, we talked about this on the show last week on CBS Sports Radio, was that Gruden will sometimes send messages to players through the media in a way where you're kind of, is he slamming the guy? Is he trying to light a fire under him? I like that. He's basically telling him, look, I know what's going on. I'm going to tell you personally, but I'm also going to call you out.
Yeah. He makes sure that guys know where they stand.
Right.
He's not going to be passive about it. He's not going to sugarcoat it and pretend like it's not happening. He's going to let you know where he stands. And if you're not performing the way that you need to perform, you're going to hear about it, whether it's through the media, whether it's face-to-face. You're going to know that you need to do better. And that's basically what he did with Bryant. And we know Bryant's skill level, and I think he's going to be fine once he gets out there.
I think so, too. And then also on the offense, we're going to see that battle between DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard, right? So we'll see a little bit who does that. I think, and I still hear, as you do, Doug Martin's doing well in camp. Let's see what he looks like in full motion during a live game. Again, I want people, because I had some people message me this week about Doug Martin. Like, you really think Doug Martin? I said, I really think Doug Martin's going to be a good addition to this team. He doesn't have to gain 700, 800, 1,000 yards. Okay,
right.
And by the rule of three, every third year he has a good year. So I'm being superstitious on that one. But I think Doug Martin will make this team. I think the other two guys, Richard and Washington, Matt, they'll get a lot of work in. So they'll be able to show what they're able to do in this offense, including running behind some big fullbacks now like Keith Smith and others.
The problem with those two guys is they're so similar. You
True.
You have two very similar backs. I understand there's a little bit of a size advantage with Washington. He's a bit of a stockier guy than Richard is, but they play a very similar style of football, and it's not necessarily the style that fits Gruden's offense properly. Not so much that you're going to need both guys. One will suffice in this offense. You need a guy that's a little quicker on the edge and can get out there in the passing game, things like that, and both of those guys fit that mold great. But you already have Doug Martin and you already have Marshawn Lynch that can get in there and hammer the ball. why do you need two of these guys?
Well, no, you're right, but both of them
to do the change of pace.
Both of them are in their twilight of their career. Let's face it. I mean, I think Marshawn Lynch probably
right, but Rashard and Washington aren't going to be 25 carry a game guys.
Exactly.
So they're nothing more than change of pace guys, and I don't think you need two of the same guy to change that pace up.
No, I agree with that. Also, another interesting, I think, storyline this week in going into the next few games and the next few weeks in camp is the play of safety Eric Harris. He's surprised folks. Remember, a former Canadian Football League guy, been a special teams guy, done really well there. But I do think, Gruden doesn't hide when he's in love with a guy. Mm-hmm. And I think Eric Harris comes up a lot. Now, maybe the media is just asking him a lot of questions about it, but you're starting to hear at safety, and you mentioned earlier, too, some of the questions at safety to go along with corner. To me, this will be an interesting scene. If he can come out of the next in 2 or 3 preseason games and show that he's doing well, I don't know that he'll start. Gruden kind of hinted that he might be able to start. I don't know about that, but again, it goes back to depth at that position.
Yeah,
well.
Depth in the secondary. But he was a minicamp standout. Remember?
Yep.
I mean, he was the stud of OTAs, and if he's making noise in practice now, that's a good thing because he's carried it over. But you want to see that on game film. That's the thing. Game speed is different. We all know it's different.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but you as an offensive coordinator, you scheme. You scheme against certain guys. And if Eric Harris has weaknesses against certain formations, against certain routes, then you know that every offensive coordinator in the NFL will scout that out, and they'll expose him in that. So he needs to make sure that he's doing everything he can do to fit into that defense properly.
Hey, guys, want to remind you, this is a Silver and Black today, coming to you live, and we are coming from Lagasse Stadium at the beautiful Palazzo at the Venetian Resort here in Las Vegas. This is right center strip, folks. This is the top place to come. Great for draft parties, corporate events, and it is incredible, Matt, to watch games here. 100 HD screens, including a 9-foot by 16-foot main screen.
Dude,
holy moly.
Like I said earlier, TVs everywhere. Every bar stool, booth, table, the stadium seating.
Yep.
If you happen to want to rent out one of these amazing suites along the edge of the restaurant here, TVs all over that too. Every wall, little cutouts, everything.
Well,
it's great.
As you know, I like to partake in fine premium cigars.
Yes.
And the luxury boxes here, they have some that are on the inside, but they also have some that have balconies, like little patios to the outside, which is right on the Las Vegas Strip.
You're on the Strip.
You can't get better than that. If you want to have a party, you want to have a bachelor party, you want to have guys. I mean, where else to go watch a football game in this kind of environment? You can't beat it. So you guys got to get down here. Join us for the party. It starts at 7 o'clock.
I'll tell you what, man, and I'll plug this too. March Madness. For later in the year. I mean, football's over by then, so, it's okay. You're not stealing any thunder. March Madness in this room, this building.
Yeah.
You cannot be. It's better than being at the games. You can't beat it.
No, you can't. And it's college football too, man. So that's coming around the corner. So we are here. We are going to be here all night, and we have live. Look at more Raiders fans coming up. Silver and Black, baby. All right. We got them walking in all the time.
Nice.
We're having fun. Get down here. They've heard. Have you heard? If you've heard and you're not here, what can I say? But
you're missing out.
But this is where I want to transition, where I think some Raider fans are going to get upset with me. Okay. And I'll get some hate mail or at least tweets on Twitter, is that we're going to move now and talk a little bit, even though he's not playing tonight, even though we're focusing on the game and the killer party here at Lagasse Stadium at the Palazzo at the Venetian Resort, we want to talk about Khalil Mack. And I have a bone to pick with Raider Nation.
Okay.
And that is, what are you thinking? Let's trade him. Come on. Seriously, this is a franchise, let's face it, from on the field perspective, has been in the crapper for 15 years, sans 2016, okay?
Yep.
So you have in my view, and I'm not just saying this because I host a Raider show, in my view, the best defensive player in the NFL. And you don't want to give him the money? And you're, we'll trade him. It's $20 million, $22 million. The report came out today, it's $22 million. Pay the man.
And you know what? Here's what happens is you get fans that think that players are entitled and that he's holding out because he's spoiled and he doesn't want to be there and he just wants money, doesn't care about the game. This is the first opportunity he's had to negotiate a contract. First opportunity. Let's not forget, NFL contracts are not guaranteed, with the exception of the guaranteed money
bonus
that's put up front, your signing bonus. Mm-hmm. Nothing is guaranteed. Of course he's going to hold out and make sure that he gets exactly what he wants. Of course the Raiders are going to pay him. Will it be exactly 22, which is being reported as what he wants? Maybe, maybe not.
He's worth it.
I agree. I think they should pay it. If it's 20, 21, 22, whatever, pay him. Trading him is the stupidest thing you could possibly do because what good does that do for the Raiders to trade him? Unless you get the next 5 best defensive players in the NFL, including Aaron Donald, and throw in a couple wide receivers and a few number 1 picks, how do you make your team better by trading Khalil Mack? You don't.
You don't. And not only that, but you're not going to get anything. Austin Gale, our good friend at Pro Football Focus, talked about that. He said, look, what are you going to get? You're going to get draft picks. Very rarely in the NFL do you get value for value on player-for-player trades. It just doesn't happen.
And you know what draft picks are? A whole bunch of maybes.
Exactly.
That's all. I'm not trading Khalil Mack for a what-if and a maybe and a prospect and all that other garbage. You can give me your next 10 number 1 picks. Every single one of them could be trash. The Raiders took Jamarcus Russell, number 1 overall. How'd that work out? They took Robert Gallery in the first 5 picks. How'd that work out?
And that's the thing, Matt. Here's my issue with Raider Nation. We're going to talk about this even more in depth on Sunday with Jim Jacks, who's going to be our guest on the show, along with Gilbert Manzano from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. So tune in 8 to 10 on Sunday. But here's the thing, and I'm trying to make this real for people because none of us sitting in this room in Lagasse Stadium, at least I think, or anybody listening, has ever sat down to negotiate a $20 million contract or something like that, okay?
You know, I wish I had, but I haven't yet.
Me too. So do my kids. So here's the thing. Remember when you went to buy a car and you went through that negotiation, right?
The haggle, right?
The haggle, right?
Yeah.
You go, hey, I'll give you this, I want this, I want this. Okay, so we've all been through something similar to that, or buying a house. It takes time.
Yeah.
What bothers me about Raider Nation, and I'm going to pick on it, I'm going to be the old man saying get off my lawn right now because I'm 48 years old. A lot of younger Raider fans I see out there, and I'm watching on Twitter, I'm watching on Facebook, I'm watching videos, don't understand this. And they are getting angry, and they are saying trade him, trade him, trade him, trade him. You have a once-in-a-generation type player, okay? This is a guy who, if he continues, barring any kind of injury, knock on wood, could be a Hall of Fame player. Okay, I really believe that.
Matt is the only player in NFL history to make the
you.
All-Pro team at 2 positions in the same season. Who do you get in return for Mac that does that?
Nobody. And I think that's my point, is I'm seeing a lot of Raider Nation with anger over this and also impatience. Listen, if you go back in time and you watch some of the players who have held out where it's not a contentious, and I don't think this is a contentious issue.
No, I think it's a high money issue.
It's a high money issue. And remember, not only does Khalil Mack need to get the money he deserves, again, to your point, his big contract, but the Raiders also, who I think really do want to give it to him, have to figure out how to structure the deal. Now, you guys were talking about last hour on Sports Adrenaline. Well, are they trying to back end it for Vegas? Absolutely they are, okay? But that doesn't count bonus, right? Bonus has to be up front. So how do you break? They might be doing something different. They might be saying, you know what? We're going to cut your guaranteed bonus. There's some way we can do it, or we're trying to build it so that we give you some now and then we give you some in 2020 so that you don't have to pay so much tax on it.
Right. And to my point earlier is you can't just say, and Tony said this, why not just backload the contract so that he makes more money when he gets to Vegas because there's no state tax? Yeah, that's all well and good, except that none of that money would be guaranteed. So if Matt got injured or he fell off production-wise and they decided to cut him, then all of that money that he backloaded, assuming that he would make more when he got here, is gone. So the only money that he would get is the early-on money. So that's another thing that needs to be negotiated. Okay, you want to backload it. That means I want more money up front. Or if you're going to backload it, then X amount has to be guaranteed.
But there's also, too, like you guys were talking about, and you were passionate about saying Donald Penn should not take a pay cut. Now, that doesn't mean you can't restructure his contract.
Right.
What's remaining so that you can fit this in. So, see, there's a lot of – and this, again, Raider Nation, this is something that's going on. There's a lot of moving pieces, and it's not just Khalil saying I want this and Reggie saying I'm not going to give you that or I'm going to give you this.
I feel that's
there's a lot of pieces happening here.
I feel that's what people are assuming is that Mac is going, hey, I want $22 million, and the Raiders are going, we'll give you 14. It's not that contentious. They are literally negotiating. They are working out every possible scenario they can work out to make sure that this thing is structured properly.
Right. And technically, remember, if you're the Raiders, you're a business. You want to take care of your guy. You want him to be a career Raider, everything, right? but you also have to watch your business. You
Right.
have to watch the money. And, by the way, for them, as much as they want him to feel really good about being a Raider and get the money he deserves, they have a year.
Yeah.
There really is no rush. Now, he's holding out. You know damn well he's going to come back for the paycheck.
He's going to play this season.
Absolutely.
Because he's not going to leave 13-5 on the table.
No.
Who in their right mind would rather sit at home than make $13.5 million doing the job that they love to do? The Raiders, let's be honest, the Raiders want Khalil Mack to be a lifer. There is no way they want Khalil Mack to leave the Raiders ever. J.J. Watt in Houston, Aaron Donald in L.A., these organizations want these guys to be lifers in those organizations. Mack is that guy. He's not going to. Carr is that guy. They're not going anywhere.
No, and those two guys are going to be your priorities, right? And our loyal listener Corey Sanford had this. He said, "Can Raiders realistically have Carr, Mack, and Cooper under contract for the future? If they do, they're going to have to hit on their draft picks because we are going to have cheap positions filled due to cap restraints with those big three."
Cooper's a big one because Cooper has not. He's very up and down. He hasn't performed yet like a top 5 receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has the ability to, but if he keeps being this inconsistent, then that gives the Raiders the leverage in negotiations because what have you done to show that you're a top 5 guy? I think his ability is there, and I think in this system he can excel, but let's not forget, receivers, it's such a different position when it comes to the way that these things are negotiated.
But that's the thing. You talk about receivers, and we're talking about Khalil Mack wanting $22 million. I want to find somebody out there who's going to tell me, and I know they're different positions, okay? Tell me that Khalil Mack is not worth more than $6 million a year more than Sammy Watkins, who got $16 million a year to go to Kansas City.
Right.
Albeit a crazy contract and stupid. It set
Very
the wide receiver market to a range that was ridiculous. But nonetheless, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's the market, right? You talk about the Donald signing and who's going to set the market for that position. But still, I just think Raider fans have to understand, and Corey brings up the point, you got to sign the best 2 guys you got. Those are your anchors on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Take care of them. The rest of them, you got to hit on your draft picks.
Yeah.
With the salary cap in the NFL, you have got to do well on your draft picks. You can't whiff. That's what happened to the Raiders in the 90s.
Yeah, it happened to them a ton.
In the 2000s, too.
Through the 2000s.
Yeah.
And it's happened to them a lot lately.
Yep.
I mean, they've got entire drafts where in the last 4 years that aren't even there anymore.
Right.
So they've really got us Carl Joseph.
The 14 draft class, right?
Yeah, Carl Joseph's got to be better. Gary Connolly has got to get on the field. You know, you hope that Nick Nelson and Colton Miller and these guys, you hope that they hit. I think this draft class can be the best one since the Carr and Mack draft.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they were 14.
They were 14.
Carr Mack was 14.
Yeah,
I think it was
15.
Yeah. But this draft class, because I think Arden Key's going to be a stud. We know Mo Hurst is. I mean, come on, he was a first round grade, and fell because of the rumored heart condition. And they say he's fine, he's good to go. You know he's going to be a stud there. If Nelson turns out to be the cover corner that he was in college, he can be great. I mean, there's some guys. If Colton Miller turns out to be a stud left tackle, I don't think he'll be there this year, even though he may get a lot of reps there. If he turns out to be a legit blindside protector, I mean, that's a corner position, that's a left tackle position, blindside, that is a defensive end position, and that is a D tackle position. Those are impact positions on the field.
All over. Yeah,
this could be a great draft for the Raiders, but these guys need to pan out.
Yes, they do. And if you look at it as well, I mean, let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about linebackers already, but a guy I'm really, and I don't know how much he's going to play, is Tahir Whitehead as well.
Yeah.
And get him out there.
I've heard his name a lot in camp so far.
Yeah, you have him, and then, of course, Emmanuel Lamore. We'll see what he does. So a lot happening there. Nicholas Morrow, too, a young kid. I really started off so well last season and then fell off, which is not uncommon for a young guy, especially undrafted.
And that defense just was not conducive to making plays.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Right.
It was not a playmaking defense. It did not put guys in the best position to make plays. I mean, it took bringing Navarro Bowman in from San Francisco to get an interception.
Yeah,
I mean that's insane.
And that's what's interesting to me as well is just the different atmosphere. I think that's what we'll see today from the Raiders, as well as John Gruden, right? So he's back on the sideline. He's going to be coaching. The mood will be different, okay? We talked about this throughout, about the culture being different. And so now we'll get to see how it started out. Now, there's still time where they got to gel together and all of that. But at the same time, we're going to kind of start to see how this all plays out in real time, Matt, on the sideline.
I'm looking forward to seeing Gruden, man. Gruden just, for theater alone, is fun to watch. He's so animated on the sideline. He is, for Raider fans that got accustomed to seeing Jack Del Rio on that sideline and just that little sideways smile and yeah, that was fun. And he was just so subdued over there on the sideline. Gruden's in your face. He's screaming and yelling. He looks like I do when the Raiders score. I mean, I'm losing my mind at games, and Gruden looks like that on the sideline as the head coach. He was my favorite personality in football 20 years ago, and I can't wait to see him wearing that Raider visor again on the sideline.
It'll also be interesting to see the reaction. I think clearly the black hole is going to be going crazy.
Yeah.
I think just for Gruden alone, it should be interesting despite being a preseason game. This is, again, of course, a Silver and Black Today podcast, a special edition coming to you live from Lagasse Stadium at the Palazzo at the Venetian Resort on the Las Vegas Strip. That's right, folks. Come on down. Again, free admission, free parking. People outside of Vegas don't quite understand.
A lot of free
that.
stuff.
There's
I think
free
we're giving
parking.
away some free stuff.
We got some Raider hats. We got Raider. What do you got? Towels or something like that, or pins?
We got Raider pins and hats.
We got Raider pins and hats. We got some Silver and Black Today stickers.
I don't know what our buddies are bringing. They got some more stuff coming.
Yes, and we got we got Dodger stuff. I don't know who the hell the Dodgers think they are.
I'll take it. Nobody else wants it.
We are also the show. You can hear our radio show on Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on CBS Sports Radio. And, of course, the VP, the guy who runs it out there, Dan Kearney, was nice enough. He brought down giveaway items himself to the party tonight.
Thank you, Dan.
So we got some Dodger stuff and some cool bobbleheads and stuff. It's pretty good stuff. So if you're a Dodger fan, cool. If you're not, we got Raider stuff as well. We're going to be doing that. We also want to thank our regular podcast sponsors, of course. So the people who are able to bring this to you on a weekly basis, and that, of course, is the local laborers union, 872. Tommy White, the business manager over there, a proud supporter from the beginning of the Silver and Black Today, both here on the podcast and on the website. Attorney Michael Troiano, as well, criminal defense attorney. Nobody wants a criminal defense attorney, but if you need one, he's the guy to call. And also usbookmaking.com, our friends over there, where we usually do our podcast on location. Want to thank them again. We are here talking Raiders preseason football as they set up to play with the Lions.
Finally, get to see them play.
Oh, man, 9 months. 9 months without football. Even last night, I'm watching Cowboys versus 49ers just because it's on. It's football, right?
I haven't watched any preseason yet. I've been waiting for it tonight.
And you know what you were talking about earlier? We don't talk a lot about betting on this show. That's just not our shtick, right? But preseason football is actually a good bet because there's data, right? So betting's all about data.
Right.
So I'm watching all this stuff, and I'm convinced. I got a buddy who just nails it all the time. So, I'm a small bettor. I'm betting $10. I'm betting $20. And if it's really good, I might bet 100, okay? So last night, I bet 2 games. Guarantee, like, the one guy who has the best record in the history of preseason NFL football, Pete Carroll. So what happens?
He loses.
They lose by 2.
Of course.
So I lost my bet. So that's a lesson to you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't bet.
Dude, it's
no,
preseason, man. It's
Yes.
so impossible to A, know who's going to play and for how long, and B, how do these young kids perform? This is their first taste, a lot of them, of NFL football. I mean, I get it. It's football, and you want to have action on games, but, man, it's so hard
it's practice
to
for the better,
these
too.
games. Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't have my first team in. I'm kind of picking
clearly
because I lost my money last night, man. But yeah, no, it's fun, and I think that people are just with everything that happened in the offseason, Matt. People are just fired up, and in Las Vegas, I mean, we've talked a lot about this show, a lot about the allegations that people here aren't excited about the Raiders. In the last 3 weeks, I mean, it's nuts. I'm seeing Raider stuff everywhere. And I'm not just talking about merchandise selling. Look at the number of people. We're not even at the time our party starts yet, and we've seen a steady stream of Raider fans coming in here to be a part of this party tonight.
That argument is so stupid. Like, First of all, when are fans not excited about football season?
Yeah,
Everybody's always excited about football season. Always. Everybody gets up for football season. The Raiders are coming to your city, and you think people aren't excited? Now, there are those pockets of people that think that the Raiders are a bad look for Vegas, or they're bringing terrible fans, and those are the uneducated. They don't understand what Raider football is about. They don't get what Raider Nation is about, and they just read the tabloid headlines, essentially. This city's excited. This city has been a Raider town for as long as I can remember. Yeah. It's a Raider town. 2 teams that I thought would work coming here. One was never going to come, Dallas Cowboys. 2, the Raiders. Those are probably the 2 biggest influences as far as football is concerned in the city. It's a no-brainer bringing them here.
It's interesting, though, you do say, and it is a common perception or misperception, and that is people who are not familiar with Raider Nation and are not familiar with Raider fans overall tend to look at Raider fans as the bad examples you see out there.
Yeah.
The people fighting and kind of that look, if you will. At the same time, to me, the best thing about Raider Nation is it's a big tent, man. Like, we've seen people come in. I've seen a guy came in a suit with his Raider shirt on, and then I saw a guy come in. I'm pretty damn sure he rode in on a motorcycle. Okay, so the whole point is, and you got people from all kinds of racial backgrounds. They all mix together, and I think that's what makes it so special. And the same can be said here in Las Vegas. It's no different. I don't care if you go to Buffalo, you go to L.A., you go to Las Vegas, you go to Salt Lake City. Well, maybe Salt Lake City. You see a wide swath of people. And I guess if you want to focus on bad examples, because every fan base has them. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles, the whole fan base is a bad example.
But anyway. I love Eagles fans running their mouth like they haven't been the trendsetter of horrible fans for the last 5 decades. What they had a prison in the vet. They had a prison in the bowels of the vet.
With a judge.
Yeah, like come on, you're going to talk about bad fans when you guys got a jail in your own facility. Come on.
That's right. Again, we're coming to you live from Lagasse Stadium, the site of our party tonight here at the Palazzo Las Vegas. If you've not been here, it is phenomenal. Park on the first level next to it says casino.
Any of the parking levels, just park near the elevators that say front desk.
Yeah.
They're over on the right hand, like the back right corner.
I parked by the casino once. So I had
park
to walk
those. Yeah,
it's still not a bad
See,
walk.
you go up those elevators, and you're practically at the front door.
That's awesome. So
yeah, you're right above it.
And it's free, folks, so come on down. We're going to be doing giveaways, food specials, and drink specials. Okay, Matt, so if you come out of this game tonight and you're seeing yourself, we talked about all these different players we're going to watch and all the things we're looking for. But what's going to be successful? For me, number one is no injuries.
Right. Obviously, health is the number one concern. You don't want to lose guys in preseason. You don't want to lose guys anytime.
Right.
But
if you have to choose one thing that's going to happen or one guy that you see that makes you feel like your assessment of that person to begin with is on par, what is it tonight? What are you looking for against the Lions?
Honestly, what I want to see is an assessment that makes me wrong. I want to see Colton Miller become a legit left tackle option because the Penn situation is in the air, and that is the most important position on that line right now because we've had a lot of turnover on the right side, but left tackle position, the blind side position is huge. Yeah. There's a reason that's the highest paid position on an offensive line generally. So I want to see if Miller can perform in that position.
Well, and for me, it's on defense, a couple spots on defense, but primarily the defensive backfield. Now, I don't know how long Matt Stafford's going to play. He may only play a series, that's my guess. So we might have to go in the second or third game till we get a better answer. But I want to understand and see how that new unit back there with some of those older pieces fit together, how they defend the pass. Because to me, you're much improved up front. We talked about the linebackers already. We'll see what happens there. But for that line, that defensive line, and for those ends to do what they can do, including Khalil Mack when he comes back.
Middle push would be nice to see.
Yes, a middle push, which hasn't been there for years. But to have that backfield's got to hold up.
Yep.
If that backfield holds up, then the additions they've made up front should pay dividends right away.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I really want to see. I want to see the kids get in there. I want to see Arden Key. I want to see Mo Hurst. I want to see P.J. Hall. I want to see those guys really get after it.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. I also think that one of the other storylines here will be also, I think, just the overall team chemistry. Anytime you plug in new pieces, that takes time. So I think you'll see some missteps, and communication is the thing you're going to watch today,
Yeah, it's
right?
first preseason game, man. This isn't going to be clean.
No, it's not going to be clean, but it'll be interesting to see where those spots are. Because if you look at spots that have had heavy turnover, defensive backfield, in linebacker, you have a new guy. Although with Derek Johnson there, you got a really experienced guy. Whitehead's an experienced guy.
But you have so many new you have guys that are playing together for the first time.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing in that linebacker spot. But yeah, you have the veteran leadership there that calling out plays, calling out assignments, that kind of stuff. Guys will hopefully know where they need to be. But again, it's your first dress rehearsal, right? You have 3 more of these when it's all said and done. So, work out the kinks now, and when September 10th rolls around, hopefully the Rams don't smash you.
That's going to be a tough game. I'll tell you. The other thing is, if you look at – I want to preview our show for Sunday. So Sunday morning from 8 to 10, we have Gilbert Manzano from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. He'll be on. He's been up at camp the whole time, so we'll get some more insight from him, not only looking back at the game from tonight, but also some of the things that we're hearing from camp, whether he can – go ahead.
We get to recap a game?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Finally?
Get out of here, right?
Man.
Get out of here.
Finally.
And I know Raider Nation, because as passionate as they are, they're going to want to call in, too. So that's good as well. But we're going to talk to him and get an insight on what's happening there. Well, also, our own David Stepanian will be doing a game recap, so you'll be able to hear that if you want to hear that. Also, we'll talk to Jim Jacks, who's a writer, doctor, guy. If you follow him on Twitter, big Raider guy, but excellent. We're going to have a conversation with him a little bit about what I talked about with Raider Nation, but also about the AFC West and some of the other things, because we're starting to see that the Chargers again.
Dude.
Again.
What are they feeding this team, man? Every year they have to go through this. Look, being a Raiders fan my entire life, I have no love for the Chargers whatsoever. But you start to feel bad for this team, because every year they seem to go through these just ridiculously devastating injuries right away.
Yeah.
First practice, and they're losing guys. First preseason game rolling around, they're losing guys. I almost feel bad for them. Almost feel bad for them.
I don't like to see any guy get hurt, even if I don't like the team.
Right.
But I think it's the people in San Diego cursing. It's carried over, right?
I
Although
guess,
they were
man.
cursed before that, too. So I don't know. Maybe there's a Billy Goat out there somewhere. But we're going to talk to him about that as well. So join us from 8 to 10 on Sunday on CBS Sports Radio 1140 a.m. in Las Vegas. You can also stream that on radio.com as well. Also, make sure you check out our website, silverandblacktoday.com, where you'll find the latest news and views there. We took a little bit of a respite there only because – this is the other thing I'm going to talk about, and that is, Matt, some of the stories you're seeing out there. We will go a couple days without doing a story on the website because there's not really anything we can offer.
Yeah.
Some people don't believe that. They're going to project out all this kind of stuff about, hey, what if we trade Khalil Mack? What 3 draft picks would they get back? All this kind of stuff. Now, I get it. You're trying to fill space, and I don't begrudge anybody for what they do. But for us, it's not going to work. I just don't understand the speculation there. Instead, let's focus on what's ahead and what we do know, which is, of course, what this team is up to and what they're doing.
Because that kind of stuff is more interesting than the truth, which is they're working it out.
Yeah.
They're working it out. They're going through negotiations on a ridiculously expensive deal for the best defensive player in the NFL for a team that in 2 years will be in a new city. There's a lot of moving parts.
It's a little bit.
That's less exciting than, well, what if they trade him? What can they get for him? Who's going to come over in the deal? Just be patient. Be patient. Mac doesn't need preseason to get in shape.
No, he doesn't.
He'll be fine.
No, I think – you know what it is, though? I think it really is I'm going to play dime store psychologist here for a second on Raider Nation. So get on your couch. Get ready for Dr. Scott. So – the deal is, I really believe that because it's been so bad for so long, Raider fans just get used to being disappointed. They get used to really getting upset over things going the wrong way. And so I think this is just another example of that. But you can't. You got to understand it's a new day. Things are moving forward. This team is under new ownership, or I shouldn't say ownership, but leadership.
But it is, though.
It is, and it is. Yeah, it
is.
is.
Mark Davis is not Al Davis.
No, that's true.
He doesn't run the team the way Al Davis did. It is new ownership. It's still in the family.
Right.
But it's just like the Lakers. The
Genie
Buss kids are not Jerry Buss.
That's correct.
It's different. still in the family, but it's different. And I think it's headed in the right direction because Al Davis, towards the end, kind of lost his way when it came to how the organization should be run because he was such a control freak and wanted to have his hand in everything.
Well, and the game changed.
And wouldn't allow anybody else to make the decisions. Right. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, not that Al Davis is gone, obviously, but it's a good thing that Mark Davis has the team now and that he's hired a GM in Reggie McKenzie that is competent. And they brought John Gruden back, which I don't think there's anybody out there in Raider Nation that's disappointed about that. I mean, this team is headed in the right direction.
And, Corey brings up another point, too, which is he asked us, do you guys believe the rumor Davis can't afford the upfront guaranteed money? I want to say this. Because, Corey, I'm not taking it out on you, but this talk that Davis has no money, this has been perpetual, okay?
Yeah.
And with good reason 5 years ago when the Raiders continued to lag because primarily of their stadium. Oh, we're having a fire alarm, but no, it's just because we're so damn hot in this booth. No, it's Raider fans, man. They're turning it up. We got some party going.
This happens in this building, seriously, like once a month, man.
I used to work here.
Yeah.
But Corey asked about that. I just want to say this. The stuff about Mark Davis not being able to afford anything, if you look, we talked about this. If you look at the Forbes list this year, the Raiders jumped up. They are the 34th most valuable franchise in the world. 29 of the top 34, by the way, are NFL teams, okay? Mm-hmm. So the Raiders are worth more money, and they continue to rise. And next year they'll be worth even more. And 2020, when they move into the Palace right off of here, Russell Road and Polaris, they're going to be worth even more. So, Corey, I don't think it's that. I really don't. I really think, as Matt has said over and over again during the show, they just got to iron this deal out. It needs to make sense. It needs to be something that can be workable without sinking the team overall.
It's a lot of numbers, man. There's a lot of numbers involved in this thing. So just be patient. They're not going to trade him, so just stop with that. That's not going to happen. Nobody in their right mind would trade Khalil Mack in that organization, so that's not going to happen. And he's not going to miss the season.
No.
I mean, those are the two biggest things, right? Is he going to get traded or is he going to miss the season? Neither of those are true. At the very worst, he's going to play for the 13-5.
Right.
And they won't get a deal done before that. But I still think they will.
And the fire alarm thinks it too. So the other thing I would tell you is that we have lots of activity going on here. We have a couple random questions I want to ask you, Matt, because we did, I know you listened to the podcast we did midweek with Hayden Nadolny, a short one, on his Any Given Monday column. He talked a lot about, of course, we had the Hall of Fame induction last week. And so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say two words. I'm going to get your reaction. I don't want you to think about it. I don't want you to curse, but Randy Moss.
Oh.
No words even. You're just going to grunt.
Because it started off negative, and he kind of made amends in his Hall of Fame speech. But I don't know if you saw the video before the Hall of Fame speach where
from Mexico, he said he wasn't a Raider.
Yeah, I'm not a Raider. I'm not.
Yeah,
that rubbed me the wrong way. For the biggest reason is because he never really gave 100% to the Raider organization because they were a bad team, because they didn't have great coaching, because their offense was a bit of a mess. He felt underutilized, but he didn't. You know how many plays he took off in a game? I mean, there were plays where you wouldn't see him go more than 5 yards down the field because he wasn't the primary target in the play.
Right.
So he didn't give, I don't think, enough to the on-field performance to then turn around and talk about how I was never a Raider. You were a Raider. You just refused to accept that because the team wasn't good. You basically played the front-runner role. But in his speech, he kind of backtracked on that and said it's unfortunate that it didn't work out better, that he wished it could have been better, and then he gave credence to Al Davis and whatnot. But I don't know, man. I was a big fan of Moss when he got to Oakland. I went and got a Moss jersey. I still have a number 18 jersey hanging in my closet. And I was at his first game in New England. That was a Thursday night opener. Patriots dropped another banner, and that was in 2005, September 2005. And I saw that, 75-yard touchdown he caught from Kerry Collins. Saw it live, and I saw what he could be. And that was pretty much the pinnacle of Randy Moss in Oakland was that first game.
And that's what I said the other night, too, was, look, I don't think that total forgiveness is ever going to happen from Raider Nation, and I can understand why. With somebody with that kind of talent, I mean, obviously just went in the Hall of Fame, with that kind of talent who basically just didn't do what he could have. Yeah. Even though it was a bad team, you still performed.
And that's the thing, is they were terrible. I mean, let's be honest. But you still got to go out there and play the games, man.
Absolutely. So but I even in that speech, though, I have to say this, not to stoke the fires. You know, he kind of capitulates, responds, thank you, Raider Nation, maybe it didn't work out. And then he talks about how he has no regrets. You have no regrets about quitting on a team?
Well, that
to me is
because
it's a mixed message.
That's his arrogance right there. That's what Randy Moss is. He has no regrets in a very tumultuous filled career. I mean, let's be honest. There were a lot of incidences in his career that any normal human being would look back on and go, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have this straight cash, homie. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? There were a lot of instances in there where he probably could have pulled the reins back a little bit, and he didn't because that's his personality. But that's that narcissism, that's that arrogance, that's that refusal to admit wrong, and that's kind of where he stood. Yeah. That's where he will always stand. Well, but let's not take anything away. He was
great player.
If he had Jerry Rice's work ethic, he would have been the greatest receiver of all time. Yes. No slight to Jerry Rice. Love Jerry Rice. But Randy Moss's physical ability, second to none.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. One thing that you can't argue either is the best place to watch a game here in Las Vegas, especially on Las Vegas Strip, is right here at Lagasse Stadium. Lush stadium-style seating and a patio steps away from the Strip. Luxury boxes. 100 HD screens, man. I mean,
is that enough? I think we need more. Let's put some more.
I wanted to put 100 in my house.
Let's get a couple more.
My wife said no. She said no. And she would not let me get the 9 by 16-foot screen either that they have here.
I don't have one of those either.
And that kicked-up menu by Emeril Lagasse. I mean, amazing food here.
Dude. Tartar's bomb.
Oh, that's right. You kept telling me about that. That's right.
I'm going to go order some in a minute.
It's a great place. Make sure you come. Free parking. We're starting the party at 7. Make sure you get down here at the Palazzo at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. Free parking, free admission.
I know this guy walking in here.
Oh, yeah, that's Chris Wynn. What's up? You're wearing a Lions shirt. I knew you were going to.
Tell him to go find Tony with all the blue.
Yeah, blue. Tony's got your shirt for you, man. That's okay. All right, we got the one Detroit Lion fan, Chris Wynn, of course, here from Las Vegas coming in. But, Matt, so one other thing that we talked about on the website this week was around Derek Carr. So PFF put out their numbers, preseason numbers, had him as the 13th ranked quarterback. Now, we're not going to see Derek Carr a lot tonight, but in closing here on our show, I thought we'd talk a little bit about him. I think if you look at, again, got to do it on the field. So maybe I'm being too much of the fanboy, as you guys coined the term. But I see the relationship he's developing with John Gruden. I see how he has bought in. I see how John Gruden has enabled him to be the leader of that team without question. And I think, as I said earlier in the year, I think he's going to be top 10. So I disagree with PFF a little bit.
I put no stock into the 2017 season when it comes to the Raiders offense. Mm-hmm. Zero stock. Todd Downing was an absolute disaster. That's why he's coaching tight ends now. He's not an offensive. Yeah, he's a tight end coach. I can't remember where he went, to be honest with you, but I know he's a tight end coach. Todd Downing's offense was a disaster. There was obviously discord in the locker room with the Del Rio-led regime. It didn't work out. Carr was injured. He had the back problems. He's coming off the broken leg. He just wasn't 100% throughout the course of the season, and they were in an offense that was I was calling plays, watching. I'm not kidding. Watching Raiders games, I was able to tell you whether or not they were running or passing the ball.
Yes.
That's how vanilla that offense got. They refused to do anything creative within that offense, and that's why that they took such a huge step backwards in the 2017 season.
Not only that, but I heard this week that Todd Downing at his new job got a FedEx package, and inside the FedEx package was a sheet that talked about what a play-action pass is.
Oh, my God.
Right.
You know,
I'm looking forward to a play-action pass, and I don't care who the quarterback is.
I'm looking forward to misdirection. I'm looking forward to pre-snap motion. I'm looking forward to getting guys out on the edge. I mean, this is going to be a different offense. Derek Carr was an MVP candidate before the broken leg in 2016.
Yeah.
that's the quarterback
yeah.
that he is. Not this ridiculous offense last year.
Yeah, no, that's that goes without saying. So it's going to be fun tonight, Matt. We'll see. We're going to obviously recap everything on Sunday on CBS Sports Radio from 8 to 10 a.m. We're going to have fun. We finally get to react to a game.
Let's go get a beer.
Yes, we're going to go get a beer. So we're going to get out of here. First, want to thank, of course, the folks here at the Palazzo at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas and Lagasse Stadium, letting us and inviting us in to use this amazing studio here where we're broadcasting outside and getting some people here. No one's mooned us. So I'm feeling good about that.
It's good.
But, who knows? Tony's around here somewhere. So we'll find out. But I want to thank them again. Make sure you come on down for tonight for the party. Absolutely. But every weekend, anytime there's a game on, there's Thursday night football, there's Monday night football, Friday night football, you name it. Come on down here, Lagasse Stadium at the Palazzo, the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. They will treat you right. You will feed yourself well. You'll have great drinks. But we are about to have fun. We're going to go have this party. We're going to give away a bunch of stuff and really enjoy ourselves. So make sure you come on down. Matt, dude, thanks. We'll get back at it on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see you in about 48 hours.
That's right.
36 hours. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Somewhere around there. But we're going to step out of here. And thank you guys for listening again. We'll talk to you on Sunday. If you're in town, make sure you get down here. Palazzo at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas and at Lagasse Stadium for the Silver and Black today and Sports Adrenaline hosting Raiders Game Watch Party. Until Sunday, we'll take care. Raider Nation, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.